Well, I'm looking forward to getting into your life as a mentor and a coach. So thank you for taking a minute out.
Yeah, thank you.
You bet. So let's begin our journey into your work by asking first and foremost, I know we're all getting tired of COVID, but it was such a momentous thing for all of us to survive the pandemic. How did you get through that time period and how did it change the way that you do things now?
Ooh, great question. Let's see. So I think that the beauty of what happened for COVID for us, at the time I was working for a company on the East Coast doing the same thing. And we were already online. So we were already doing Zoom meetings. We were already meeting virtually. And so for us, it was really beautiful because we were organized and ready. So as far as business, and work went, we were there. It wasn't a huge transformation to us. We did online events. So that was an easy transition. I think the way that I survived COVID was really just being present, not trying to get ahead of the details, not getting into the weeds of what was happening outside of my home and my life. My daughter was in kindergarten at the time. So really I just had to be here and take it day by day. But I think my spiritual practice, my meditation practice, those were the things that really held my sanity together.
So let's get an exact handle, get to the marrow of what you do every day here in 2024. I'm going to put you in front of a bunch of third graders. It's career day. And one of the
Perfect.
curious kids says, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" What's your answer?
I help female entrepreneurs thrive in their personal and professional lives.
So, what did you want to be in the third grade? What was your dream?
Oh, interesting question. I have to think back. That's a long time ago. I think, at that time, I probably was still wanting to be a veterinarian.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That tends to be the way until the blood and guts and all that start happening, right?
exactly. Exactly.
So, take me back to where you were born and raised. How did these seeds of becoming a coach and helping women find their place and get to their dreams, how did all of that kind of take root and evolve into who you are today?
Yeah, I was born and raised in Portland, Oregon, so I'm still here. I love to travel though, but I grew up in kind of what you would consider your traditional, leave it to Beaver type home. My dad worked, my mom worked, my brother and I did activities. We lived on a beautiful cul-de-sac. But there was a lot of disconnection in my family, not a lot of communication. My dad was a very busy entrepreneur. And so, fast forward, went to college, and I kind of always just like had those like traditional check marks, right? Like get married, have babies, like keep it simple. And I think when my daughter was, going into preschool, so she was like three or four, is when I really started to feel like, what if it could be different? Because I think we were at a transitional point just in society where women were like, well, wait, do I have to, for lack of a better word, just be a stay-at-home mom? And at that point in my life, I had some entrepreneurial side hustles, but I was also teaching in Portland public schools, and I was just feeling burnt out. And I was like, this has to look differently. So, I just started to kind of deep dive who I was. And so really me getting to this point was saying yes to myself and being like, okay, I don't just need to do what's normal or what's traditional or what's been mirrored for me in society. I get to create something different. And so I just got curious about who I was and what I wanted to create and how I wanted to engage and be in the world. And the more curious I got about that, the more I realized, wow, there's a lot of people in general who are doing things, just out of like, this is normal, this is what we do, it's always been this way. And I think that we're in a beautiful moment where we get to choose and live a little bit differently and be more creative with, not just the arts, but like the way that we do business and the roles in a household, and how we live and how we school our children and all the things.
So what was the first time, first client that you saw the sparkle in their eyes as a coach where you thought, I found my calling, this is what I need to do?
Yeah. Oh man. I mean, I can picture, my face. I can picture their face, and it was being this like it was just this light bulb where I saw that what I was this the space I was holding for this human and just helping them explore themselves and helping them feel not only validated for where they're at and why they felt the way that they felt, but helping them get curious about how does it get to get better. Um, I remember I closed my laptop and I was like, I've arrived. This is the work I'm supposed to be doing. And from that moment, to today, like it's 8:30 in the morning here, but like yesterday I'm meeting with clients all day. I'm like the best version of myself because I've landed in my purpose. And that's what I want everyone else to experience as well. I want them to get curious enough to know that they can change careers. Just because you went to college for X, Y, or Z, or you didn't go to college and you just went into the workforce, like whatever it is, that can change for you. And you get to reinvent yourself and really love, like, I love my life. I wake up excited. I love the work I do. My biggest complaint is that I don't get to do it every day, all day.
Yeah. So you get the opportunity to dispense invaluable guidance to your clients to help them get where they want to go. But for you, what's the best advice you've ever gotten?
Oh my gosh, that's such a great question. Probably slow down.
I get that.
Yeah, slow down, and really, I think, stay curious. I went through a lot of different workshops and trainings with momentum education outside of New York, and they really helped me deepen a passion for curiosity.
So who's been a hero? Who's been an inspiration for you in your life?
Um, it would be hard to pick just one. I think that my husband actually, surprisingly, is an inspiration for me. He is the most determined entrepreneur I've ever met. There's
Yeah.
a million reasons why he should have thrown in the bag, and he never did. And he never bailed out on his people. He always paid them before he paid himself. And I think there's real humility there. And it's been a really beautiful thing to watch and see the way that he just never gives up. I mean, you call it stubbornness, but I think that he's just really determined to create something beautiful for himself, but also the people that he gets to employ.
So if you could meet a powerful, influential entrepreneur on the planet right now and spend some time with them, understand how they roll, ask questions, who would that be?
Hmm. Great question. I think I would be torn between Brene Brown and Tony Robbins.
Okay. Okay. So as far as like a business model that exists in the world, whether it's big or small, what do you admire for the way that they make profit, treat their employees, all of that? Is there someone out there that you admire?
Uh, I think that, you know, yes and no. I think there are bits and pieces. I don't know if there's a company that comes to the top of my mind where everything's perfect. I think the companies that I admire or the professionals I admire, they're they're the ones willing to be wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what is it that gets you up every day? You obviously love your job, love what you're doing, but what's the ultimate motivation? Because you have to give a lot of yourself to help your clients, but you
Yes.
also have a life and you have to evolve as a human yourself. What is that collective, energy for you every day to do that?
I think it is the collective energy that gets me out of bed. I think it's understanding that the small things that I do every day add up to something bigger in the collective consciousness of the universe. And, so for me, it's like today I got up, you know, at 6 a.m. so that I could have a moment alone. So really my hour of alone time, my meditation practice, journaling, pulling some tarot cards, being by myself every morning is a non-negotiable. And that gets me out of bed because I I come back to myself. So it's like that moment where I'm taking care of myself. I'm ignoring what's happening in the ethers and I'm saying, how's Karissa today? And it's in those morning meetings with myself where I think, okay, what do I need today? Like, do I need to do more or should I do less? Like, am I tackling that to-do list or am I gonna like, mess it off and go to yoga? So I think the more we can choose ourselves, the better the collective gets. So really like I really like who I am, and that's what gets me out of bed.
So if you had a dream tonight, ran into the 18-year-old version of you, and you could give that young version of you a piece of advice based on this life you've lived, the wisdom you've gained along the way, what advice would you impart? And would that version of you listen?
Probably not. That version of me would be like, lady, you're nuts.
Yeah.
Um, I think I would just say keep going, because when I look back on my life, all the things that we would probably label as like bad or negative or whatever, had I not gone through those, I wouldn't be this version of me. And
Yeah.
so I really have deep appreciation for the chaotic path that I've lived. I would tell that younger version to keep going, that it's gonna unfold in her favor, and to trust the process and keep making mistakes and just continue to show up. I think it's really easy to give up, and that's like the message I want to show people is you got to show up for yourself first so that you can show up for other people. And so I would just say keep showing up to whatever the circumstance is.
So of everything that you've done and accomplished in your life, what are you the proudest of?
uh I think, as cliche as this is going to sound, my marriage. I don't think that a healthy marriage was modeled for me. Um, and I was very quick to want to walk away when shit hit the fan,
Yeah.
and I didn't.
Yeah. No, I get it. I totally get it. So everyone out there has a perception of you, family, friends, clients, but you run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
Holly, you got some good questions.
This is the therapy hour.
Okay, my perception. I mean, I think that I'm like a little bit out there, but I think that I'm also grounded and fun. You get what you get. I'm not. It's all out there. I wear my heart on my sleeve. What you see of me online is pretty much what you're going to get if you walk in my front door. So I think authenticity, like I am who I am. And I really, I'm so thankful I'm at a point in my life where I can say, I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not trying to hide it. I'm very imperfect. I make mistakes, but I think the difference is I'm willing to say, yeah, I really messed that one up. And how can we move forward now?
So I've watched a little bit of that show, Portlandia. Have you seen it?
Yes.
Is it true? Is it true to life?
It's sadly very accurate. Yeah. Or shockingly accurate. Yeah. It's pretty accurate. I mean, Portland, they filmed that pre-COVID. It's different now, I would say. But it's pretty much the same. I mean, my husband's business logo has a bird on it.
Okay. All right. I was curious because when I see it, it just feels like what is depicted. But sometimes when they do that, like Kansas City gets painted into being kind of this cow town, and we're actually much more artistically, culturally driven. We're
Yeah.
not just the place that Mahomes plays football. So I understand how you get pigeonholed into these things,
Yes.
you
Yeah,
know?
definitely.
So, so final question. I want to know if we get off this call, a time machine pulls up in front of your house, and you can go anywhere in the history of time and see one event with your own eyes, and you won't create a tear in time. It's just you'll get to witness it. What would you love to see?
The Great Gatsby. I love the 1920s. I would love to go to a big old a big old party.
So, are you a jazz fan?
Definitely. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I have a jazz show. It's my other
Yep.
incarnation. And I got to say, Fred on Portlandia did a
Yeah.
bit at one point and totally trashed jazz, like destroyed it. Like, how is it that we like this, like, unsyncopated, everybody's doing their own thing, chaotic cacophony of sound, and we saw it was like he just went on this big, and I think he did it in Kansas City, and it's like, dude, don't you understand, if you come to Kansas City, there's probably a few things you shouldn't trash: barbecue, Mahomes, and jazz. Just stay away from it. But anyway, he
Yeah.
he had a different agenda.
I haven't seen that one, but yeah, no, I'm a big, what I went to college for was dance. So I was classically trained ballerinas, and then I danced semi-professionally. So we did a ton of like Chopin, Stravinsky, and like the weird, classical stuff. And
Yeah,
now in my, older era, I really appreciate jazz. We always have music going, and I think it's great. And I think that's the creative side of it too. I understand where you can put different, like, I like it.
yeah,
It makes dance really fun when you have different beats and, syncopations and all the things.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. One of our favorite guys from Kansas City is up in Portland right now. He's a drummer named Todd Strait, and he's phenomenal. And he used to be in Kansas City, then went to Portland, then came back, and now he's back up there. So he's a wonderful Kansas City export up there.
Is he playing somewhere?
He has to be. I mean, he
Okay.
is definitely a gig-driven dude. I mean, he's on albums, but he's definitely one of those guys that's a stalwart out on the scene. He's playing all the time. So,
Amazing. Yeah, we used to have a dueling piano bar. That was my favorite night out.
yeah. Yeah. We one of our more fabled places that's kind of risen up here is called the Green Lady Lounge, and it's like a vampire lair. You like walk in and it's like
Ooh.
all red and velvety, and there's candles on all the tables, and it's like there's an organ. It's very organ driven, a lot of the stuff, and it's a really cool joint. So it's
I
fun.
love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I think it's amazing. And I'm glad to hear that the arts are coming. I feel like they're coming back. They're coming into school programs again.
Yeah.
And that's very exciting for me.
Yeah. We need it. Absolutely, we need it.
Mm-hmm.
It's been great to meet you. Thank you so much. If anyone wants to reach out, they want to hire you, learn more about what you're doing, any of the good business, where can they go?
My website has everything linked to my podcast, social media, email. It's karissadean.com.
Okay. Karissa, thank you. I appreciate
Yeah.
it. Best of luck.
Thank you. Have a
Thank
great
you.
day, Joe.
See ya.